Good morning, everybody. I don't know why I'm doing this weird thing with my voice. It's just what happens. My hair is doing like craziness today too. So let's just say that everything's really weird. It's it's 7 o'clock in the morning. What you're shown / led to believe is not always the end. It's not always, it's not always like what it is. It's just it's just a part of the process. It's a part of the journey. So sometimes what you're led to believe, I'm just gonna do this really quickly because I really want to go work out. It's already after 7 o'clock. But it's Sunday, so it's okay. Sometimes what you're led to believe, you just are basically, by the universe, by your experiences, by whatever. It's just there for you to fully kind of encompass and have that experience from that perspective in order to help you grow into something else. It's just a part of it, right? And sometimes we get so caught up in like, oh, this is it, this is the thing, this is amazing, this is perfect, and it's like, and you go all in on it. Sometimes you're meant to go all in on it, but the problem then sometimes occurs where you're holding on to that thing so tightly because you get so sold on this is the thing. Like, I'm being led to believe that this is like my job, this is like my dream job, this is perfect, everything's amazing. But then we forget to let go of it during that like process of growth, right? Because when you're there and you're fully encompassed and you're like doing your thing, you're still growing and you're learning all the time. And sometimes there starts to be this like little bit of friction, and it's so hard to let go because of all the good that's come from it and all the amazing experiences that you've had. It's hard to kind of let go and then allow yourself to grow into this new thing and have all these other new experiences. It's hard to see opportunities and things and experiences like stepping stones, especially when you're so engrossed in it. You know what I mean? So, like an example, because I have to give examples, and this one I've used many times, and we're going to talk about my hair. But when I had my dreads, I was convinced when I got my dreads that it was like my forever hair. I really was. I said, I'm never changing my hair again. I'm tired of cutting it. I'm tired of dyeing it. I'm tired of it like being damaged at times. I'm tired of like roots. I'm tired of like constantly changing my mind. I loved doing my hair. I love having all the different colors and all the different cuts and everything, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And especially when my hair was short, it didn't look cute. It didn't look cute when it was flat. If I had like a flat faux hawk, it didn't look cute, and I want to look cute, and that's okay. I can find ways to look cute where I don't have to constantly pour all this energy into maintaining something like that, when I would personally prefer to use that time and energy towards something else, right? So like paring down my morning routine and what I was doing, but still being able to like say, oh yeah, my hair still looks really cute, but not spending all that time was a big thing for me. And so I went in on this whole, like, the dreads are my forever hair because this is something I never have to maintain. And if I do maintain it or wash it, it's like few and far between. It's going to be fantastic. But I was really just meant to go through that experience, because if I had tried to grow out my hair without the dreads, without the extensions, it never would have happened. I would have kept cutting my hair because that's the cycle that I was in. I had to convince myself, in the universe and everything had to tell me that this was my forever hair, and I had to believe it fully in order to keep them in and actually allow my hair to grow. Because otherwise I would have been stuck in that cycle. I wouldn't have been able to let go of that cycle of cutting my hair because it would have looked really awful. You know what I mean? So I had to be fully engrossed in that. I had to be fully engrossed in that, and I had to learn to let go. I cried when I cut them out. I absolutely did cry. But I had to go through that process, and I had to also go through the process of letting go and kind of grieving them a little bit. But now I'm in this place where my hair is fantastic. I have a beautiful new haircut. I don't have to do anything to it except for trim my bangs out of my face, maybe a trim every now and then. It's even less maintenance than the dreadlocks were. It actually is, because in the end I couldn't maintain my dreadlocks myself, and they started to look like shit. It was really, really bad. Anyways, that's a side thing. But I can give you more examples if you like. Jobs is another one. I kind of talked about that. People get so engrossed in like my dream job, and this is my career path, and this is my thing, when sometimes you're being guided into that career path, and you're being guided into this dream job that you're convinced is your dream job, just to learn something. And sometimes it's a skill, sometimes it's an interaction with a person there, sometimes it's just growth for yourself, to learn about who you are and what direction you want to ultimately continue to go in and grow in, right? So letting go of what path you're supposed to be on when it comes to your employment, when it comes to your career, or what you're doing with your life. You got to be open to these things too. You got to go with what feels right. You got to always go with what feels right. And there may be a point, just like with my dreads, it didn't stop feeling right. It stopped feeling right. And so if you have this job and it no longer feels right, you learned so much. It's okay to take it as the experience of this is what it was. And it's become a stepping stone, and now let's open this new chapter in life. Because if you think about it, like, you don't have to like set anything in stone right now. You don't have to set anything in stone ever, actually, ever. I shouldn't have even said right now, just ever. Everything can constantly flow and change and grow. You just have to kind of learn to go with it. Just learn to go with it. Like, oh, this is what's happening now. Okay, this is what's happening now, and this is what I feel like now. This used to resonate with me, and now it no longer does. And that's going to be the big thing that's always going to come back. What feels good? What resonates with you, right? What resonates with you? And that's going to change as you change and you grow. The only time you don't change and grow is when you prevent yourself from changing and growing. When you prevent yourself from going with that flow, and you try to stay rigid into what the expectations are of whatever it is that you're experiencing, you know? So yeah, just go with it. In summary, hey, I could have saved you like 10 minutes of your life. In summary, just go with the flow. Just go with the flow, with what feels good. With your hair, with your job, with your friendships, with your relationships, with everything around you. Obviously, like, you know, you need to do some self-exploration always. Always do self-exploration, and everything should always be an opportunity to reflect on your values and who you are, because everything is always about coming back to you, right? To gain a deeper understanding of yourself, how you operate, a reflection of your traumas, your cycles, things like that. Because one other thing that can happen, and I guess this is like the flip side, so watching the entire 10-minute video is worth it sometimes. The flip side can also be going with the flow if you are not aware of your cycles and of your traumas or anything else that might be repeated pattern, because of how you've learned to operate from like a coping mechanism standpoint, or like just because of how you've been conditioned by the people that you grew up around or experienced in your life so far, whatever. It could be that you're going with the flow and going through these cycles unknowingly to repeat things, to bring that to your attention, because then that's something that you need to work on. So it can be a good and it can be a bad. It can be a wonderful growth experience that then you have to let go and then move on, or they could be opportunities. Well, you know what? Cycles, it's all about growth too. Everything is about growth. It really depends on how you view it. It really depends on how you view it. Everything is about growth. Sometimes it's a very direct, you're here to learn this, and it's going to help you grow, and you're going to be amazing in a very positive and wonderful experience. And sometimes it's a repeated cycle or negative pattern or something like that you're really meant to recognize and say, this is constantly happening in my life. Why? Let's like not let it happen anymore. Let's just not let it happen anymore. And you can do that through, if it's people, you can do that through non-engagement. It's quite simple. Non-engagement, right? Most of the time when it comes to stuff like that, it is people, but it can be situations. It can be something, if it's other people, it's non-engagement. That's usually the answer. But if it's something in you, like overextending or people pleasing, then those are things that you need to, meditate on. Meditate and figure your shit out, basically, is all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's a lifelong journey. Don't worry, it's all good. We're all fucked up. Have an amazing day. I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna go work out, and I'm gonna have an amazing day too. Everybody's gonna have an amazing day, right? Absolutely. Just make it so. Okay, bye. I was this close to not making things weird at the end.